Hello!
Hi!
Hi, I'm making this video in response to someone who wrote into our help desk, and this video is about gastric sleeve complications, things that I went through when I had the sleeve, things that Nigel was able to witness for a large part of it. So I want to jump right into it because this is going to be all the downsides that I've experienced to the best of my recollection. There are probably some things that I'm missing. Some of this, by the way, is going to involve bodily functions. So if you are squeamish or, you have that natural sort of pearl clutching thing where, you don't like when people talk about bowel movements and stuff, you should probably move along because that is also a big part of that. And it's still an ongoing struggle. And yeah, I'm going to talk about my poop. Sorry if the lighting in this video stinks. Whatever. Right after that, I started to feel very dehydrated, especially when they took the IV out. I started to feel very dehydrated. I didn't want to eat anything. I felt really gross. Anything that was colder than room temperature made me feel like I was going to throw up. It was really awful. So people were like, yeah, ice chips for the inflammation. That is literally the worst thing that I could have done at that time because it would have caused everything to kind of cramp up and then I would have gotten really violently sick. That was pretty breathtaking because I was assuming, because I had the surgery several months before we got married and I was assuming that by the time we had our ceremony, I'd be at my goal weight.
No, it's a slower process.
It's still a slow process because there's no bypass involved. This is not like a gastric bypass surgery. Because in a bypass surgery, they're literally bypassing your intestines. They're removing a large chunk of it. So they don't remove it. They just literally bypass it. It's still in there. They could theoretically reconnect it if they needed to someday. But that's not the same with the sleeve. 80% of my stomach is in a landfill in Mexico somewhere. Or it was when I had the surgery. So I absorb everything from everything that I eat. The issue is that I'm restricted on what I can eat. And it's not just because of the size of my stomach, though at first that was obviously the limiting factor. Now the limiting factor is I need to maintain a certain diet. I have literally 3 beverages sitting next to me as I talk. Because even now, 2 years out, I get very easily dehydrated because I cannot eat and drink at the same time. I could. My sleeve will support it. I could backslide very easily and do that, but it's part of the behavioral changes that I agreed to when I had the surgery. It's part of a deeper commitment to myself to not engage in that behavior. Maybe at Christmas, maybe on my birthday, I might cheat and drink a little bit with my meals, but because I don't do it regularly, it typically makes me feel kind of gross. So I just don't. Because I don't try to stretch my sleeve out, because I don't try to push the boundaries, I'm being a good little sleever girl, I still don't get hungry. I still don't get regular the thirst signals. And so it's very easy for me to go hours. I could go days probably without eating anything if I really pushed it. And I can go a whole day, look up, it's 7 o'clock and oh, I've had a cup of coffee today. And that's all I've had to drink since 8 a.m. Not great.
No, we've been trying to get her to drink some more in the last week or so.
Yeah, because I called attention to it. I called myself out on my own crap. I was like, I'm still not good about drinking enough. I'm still not in the habit of it. After surgery, they tell you, have a drink on you at all times, and just sip, sip, sip. And I work really intensely, like all the time. All the time. My laptop is in my hands. From the moment I get out of bed and brush my teeth and wash my face, I'm right there at my laptop and it's basically in my hands up until I crash and burn and go to bed. And even then, while I'm in bed, I'm sitting there working on my phone. So,
yeah,
that's not an exaggeration.
No, I have to drag her away to eat dinner. And
yeah, he does. And I told him, to absolutely nag me, absolutely. And if I push back, just do it anyway because I need it. But that's really helpful. You really want to make sure that if you have a surgery like this, that you have somebody in your corner that can help you kind of keep tabs on it. Because if you're like me and you're kind of prone to self-neglect and abuse, that's not great. It's not great for recovery. Don't go out to eat by the way, if you want to lose weight, even without surgery, stop going out to eat. That is the easiest way to lose weight, period. You will still eat really great food. It'll be a little bit more annoying because you'll have to clean up after yourself, and maybe it won't be as fancy, because if we try to duplicate at home the kind of meals you get at restaurants, the price goes way up, right? But you don't need to eat fancy to eat well. And that's a really great lesson for everybody watching this.
Yeah.
Because if you eat at home, you have way more control over what is in that food, because the restaurants will straight up lie about the nutrient content of their food. So even if you think you're doing everything right, you're still sabotaging your diet literally every time you go out to eat. So, and that's beyond just pushing the bread basket away or the chips at the Mexican restaurant. Like you really have to be incredibly careful with what you eat when you go out to eat.
Oh yeah, the number of times we've gone out a few times, maybe about, I don't know, once every other month, and the stuff we see out there is just the rich cream and cheese and sugar in everything.
Oh gosh.
Oh, we go to a local place. I forget the name of the place because they do good pork chops, and all their salad dressings are crammed full of sugar.
I know, you're talking about Rafferty's.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name. Rafferty's.
I love their pork chops.
Great pork chops.
Oh yeah, but everything else is just like, it's a southern restaurant chain, so they've got like sugar-coated sugar lumps, a little bit of sugar on the side, and everything's deep fried and covered in syrup. with hot sauce.
And dairy.
And bacon. I mean, it's delightful, but it's made to be addictive.
Oh yeah.
And
very, very fattening because of all the sugar.
If you have problems with cravings, consider cutting eating out right away, because the moment you stop doing that and gain control over what you're eating, my goodness, those cravings subside very quickly. Especially if you're not just sitting there eating potato chips at home. Like, if you're eating wholesome food at home and you're not going out to eat as much and you're properly hydrated, your cravings will go right out the window, with or without the surgery. Get real cozy with stool softeners, because you will be constipated probably for the rest of your life after you have sleeve surgery. It's like the opposite effect that people who have the bypass have, because their intestinal tract is shortened. They tend to have issues with dumping syndrome and diarrhea. I told you I was going to be talking about poops. I meant that, because this is about the complications, and problems with poops is a big part of that. Seriously, you will start to chart when you go to the bathroom, almost like it's an obsession, almost like you are a resident in a nursing home. It is that insane. And sometimes I feel like I talk more about my poop around the house than any rational person should ever talk about their poop. I appreciate your polite silence there, honey. Plus, I'm like a walking science experiment at this point because of the sleeve surgery and the fact that it affects everybody a little differently. I'm fascinated by how it affects my body. No one else is quite as fascinated as I am. Heartburn. The heartburn is real, because when you have your sleeve, your stomach becomes like a pressurized vertical tube of, it's like that looks like a vulgar gesture, but it's like a banana, it's like, that isn't very helpful either, but it is, it's like we just ate the last banana. So I was gonna say, I was looking for the banana and honey, if I use a banana for this, people will think I'm about to do a condom demonstration. So anyway, it's still not getting me away from the double entendre, so let's just move on from there. But the
vertical tube, hollow.
It is, and it's a pressurized system. I can't stop doing that gesture.
Squeeze.
That isn't helping either. Okay.
What, squeeze? No. Nothing we can do. Nothing we can do will not look.
This is what happens
dirty
when you get your advice from people who are terminally immature. But it is. It's like a pressurized tube, and it's highly responsive to what you're eating. So if you eat even a bite too much, you might feel like you want to hurl. That's not cool. If you don't feel like you want to hurl, you'll feel all that stomach acid that's being displaced magically finds a new home in your esophagus, and it's very uncomfortable. Me and Pepsid, we're like this. We're like married. Pepsid is basically my second husband at this point.
We have got lots of tubs of Pepsid.
In different flavors.
Big ones.
It's like a buffet of Pepsid. I mean, obviously you can't take too many of those. There are limits. You can take like, what, 2 a day or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Oof. So, I mean, but you got to be careful with the other over-the-counter heartburn remedies too. And when in doubt, consult your doctor. In my case, my mouth is dry because I'm dehydrated and I can't just drink my food down. And so that makes it rough. I got to chew. And boy, I eat really slowly these days, which is great. I was hoping that the sleep would make me do that. But part of the bad part of that is like sausage, beef, tomatoes, red wine, anything carbonated, right out the window. Fried things, breaded things, bread. Fun side note, by the way, one of the ways I could tell I'm full, because I don't feel full in the same way that normal people feel full, that part of my stomach is gone, that would send that signal. I start sneezing, my nose starts running, my eyes start watering, and I get the hiccups. I still hear from people that I'm no fun because I'm no fun to hang out with at a buffet.
Yeah, and every time someone suggests, let's go to a buffet, you go, it's not worth the money for me to go to a buffet.
No!
I'll have like 3 bits of lemon chicken and that's it. It's all I can fit in there.
Yeah. No, I'm the kind of person the buffet owners hope will go to a buffet.
Yeah.
Because I don't eat much. And oh my gosh, that's another thing about, you don't know how much this is going to actually affect your life until you're actually living the post-operative lifestyle.
Months later, you'll find stuff that you didn't realize would be affected by this kind of thing.
Like when you do go out to eat, the waitresses think that it's like a sin of the highest caliber that you don't want them to bring you a glass of water with your food.
And no, this has happened several times.
Around him, and yeah.
Oh, I've witnessed this. They start pouring out the glass of water. Says, no, I can't drink while I'm eating at the same time. Oh, you sure? Yes, I'm sure. It's a medical condition. Oh, okay. And then every 5 minutes, are you sure you don't want a glass of water? And then when the manager sees that she is not, the manager himself. It's been a woman once, but mostly it's a male manager. Comes around and says, why didn't they give you a glass of water? This should be attended to immediately. And she has to explain, no, I've had surgery. I can't eat and drink at the same time. Now I could drink the nice free water, but you wouldn't be making any money out of me at the moment. Yeah,
no, that is exactly right. And it's crazy. Like I dread restaurants with open floor plans if I have to go out to eat at any time, because if I'm sitting there without a drink, literally every waiter that walks by will ask if I've been waited on, if I want something to drink, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Every few minutes. Thank you. I mean, it got so bad that I had little cards made that would basically educate people on, stop asking me if I want something to drink.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to be nice. I've been a waitress. I was a waitress for over a decade. I know that your manager is making you ask me this. I get it. I get it. And I get it that you get trained after a while to view that as a waitress as a signal that table is open and up for grabs, or has been sitting there for a while, or that somebody is potentially being neglected. So I do feel for waitresses in this situation, and I try to have some perspective, but it's still really annoying. It is very annoying because it is very disruptive when they're constantly asking me if they can help me. I just want a big neon sign over my head that says, I've had gastric sleeve surgery. Quit asking. Little things like that. I can't drink beer. The carbonation, even a little bit, will make me feel like I need to throw up. So carbonated anything is out the window for me because I'm working very hard to keep my sleeve intact. And by the way, that's a good thing, because if I keep persisting and trying to force my sleeve to accommodate carbonated beverages, or I backslide and I eat and drink at the same time, my stomach will eventually oblige that request, and it will expand, and then it will undo that entire surgery. Yeah. So it's part of maintaining the integrity of the sleeve and how small it is that I maintain these behaviors. So that makes it slightly more agonizing, because theoretically, I could have that beer. I could have that bread. But I choose not to engage in those things because I'm in this permanently, and I made a commitment to myself to maintain certain behaviors. And a lot of people don't like that when they're going out. In other situations I've encountered like this, people do stop inviting you places. It makes family gatherings weird. It definitely adds tension because it calls into focus other people's bad behaviors without you saying a word. And they would much prefer if you not only ate the same things that they do, but ate more, because it makes them feel more comfortable. Particularly if they knew you as a fat person, they're used to you as a fat person, and that's the role you've already possessed. That's the role you already occupied in their lives, was as the chubby friend that they felt comfortable eating whatever they wanted around. Because when they can't eat whatever they want around, and I didn't know to what extent I was that person until after I had that surgery. And it brings it into really crystal clear focus, because those people are baffled at every single little thing you try to tell them about, well, I can't do this, I can't do that, because to them, that's like a living hell. It's like everything I describe about my surgery to those people is going to sound like prison in my own body. Like, they can't wrap their heads around why somebody would want to do that to themselves voluntarily. But your health is more important than maintaining food as a source of recreation. At least to me, at the time that I had my surgery, that was the choice I made. I was bored of binge eating. I was bored of all of my interactions revolving around food. I was bored of feeling sluggish and tired and having my skin constantly be broke out. I was sick to death of feeling like crap and not having more control. And I felt like I was out of control and that food was in the driver's seat. And that my need for food, though it is an essential need and something that every human needs to fill, was overwhelming every other part of my life. All of the real changes come from you. They come from the things that you're doing. They come from how you respond to all the things that I just mentioned. They come from how you deal with things like the dehydration and the constipation and the heartburn and the depression. It all comes down to you. And that can feel very isolating, which can make the depression a lot worse, which is why it's so vitally important that you do things like reach out to other people. That's why I wanted to make this video for Amber when she wrote in to my help desk, because even though she's never bought anything from me, this is so important, and it's the sort of thing that we really need to support each other through as people who've had this surgery. Because if your doctor is anything like mine, they do a great job of telling you what to eat and what not to eat. They do a great job of telling you, things like how to deal with the heartburn and, modifying what kind of meds you take and stuff like that. They do give you a lot of information, and that can be very overwhelming. But the thing that they don't really prepare you for, because they don't want to scare you away, is how much it's going to mess with your social life and how much that's going to make you feel depressed, and that hormonally your body will change.
But the thing is, it can get better, and it will get better.
Just keep talking about it with people. Yeah. Keep reaching out like you did here. If you're watching this, Amber, and you made it through all this long-winded stuff, keep talking to people about it. Keep finding communities here online. Social media is great for this, especially if you are in post-operative communities on Facebook and stuff like that. It's really important. But I'm still glad I did it. And I know I just spent this almost an hour at this point. I mean, I'll probably edit it down so it's not that bad. But I spent this much time complaining about X, Y, and Z. It's still worthwhile. I'm still happy.
Yeah.
I don't have as much inflammation. I don't have as much pain. I'm happy to trade a little bit of heartburn for a little bit less joint pain.
You're able to move around a lot easier.
I have more energy. Yeah. I fit into way more clothing now. It is so much easier to shop for clothing, except the skin gets in the way, which is a little disheartening. It's bumped me up to at least, I know, flippy flappy woo! Like, I'm not embarrassed by it. People are like, you're so brave. I'm like, I'll trade this flippy floppy bingo wing for a big old scar that goes from here to here someday when I can afford the surgery. And then I'll be like, I've arrived, baby. Hey there.
Hi.
Check out my sexy scars. I got stories to tell. I guess that's what I'm saying in a really long-winded, typically Heather fashion. So if you like this and you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments. I'm always trying to be an open book to help you guys any way I can. And this is one of the deeper things that I think I can help people with is teaching them about my experiences with the sleeve surgery and some of those issues. It's been a while since I've touched on this, so I figured it was worthwhile to address it to everybody since it's been a hot minute. And if you would like to support our channel, make sure that you subscribe and tell a friend. My wig reviews and stuff like that are not circulated in the same way that most of the influencers on YouTube and Instagram are circulated because I own my own wig store. I do a lot of work and I'm always here to try to help you guys. You don't need to cry me a river about the work thing. It's a lifestyle I chose. But just kind of keep in mind that if you really want to help us, helping us get the word out is really one of the better ways, particularly if, in the case of this video, if you know someone who is considering gastric sleeve surgery or who has had it and is struggling with it. That was really the intention of this video. You know, I figure if I'm asking you guys to share stuff on my behalf, the least I can do is make it educational and make it helpful. So thank you so much, everybody.
Share.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.